what is this? This is your brain on multiple sclerosis. No, I'm just kidding. But this is your brain with multiple sclerosis, and you should stick around because I would like to teach you how this happens. So we're gonna talk about it. So what if I told you that multiple sclerosis is not random? It's something that happens when you've ignored stress and trauma for way too long. So I have actually drawn an illustration here to explain everything about this complex thing that doctors don't have a clue about. They can't explain why it happens. There's no fixing it. Okay, so we don't need this just yet, but let's talk about the fact of what your nervous system is. Your nervous system is a vast system of a bunch of neurons. You might ask what a neuron is. Well, this is a neuron. I can't get a good angle with all of me and this in, so we're just gonna zoom in on this for a second. This is a neuron, and you, on the neuron, have your dendrites, your axon, your myelin sheath, your axon terminals, synapses. You have all of these things, and what they essentially do is they allow your nerves to communicate. So the dendrites receive the information, and the cell body processes everything, basically like the processing center, and then you have the axon, which carries the communication down the neuron, so that's the transmitter, and then you have the axon terminals that pass the information along to the next neuron. So it's a big communication system. Your axon is wrapped in myelin sheath, and the myelin sheath acts like an insulation, like barrier. Signals fire from the neuron, the cell body down the axon, they jump across the synapse, and they activate the next neuron's dendrites. And this is how the communication happens. So basically, you have a neuron, this is just one, but then you would have another one over here that would start from here, and you would have another one's end over here connected to this one, and that's how they communicate. And this insulates all of this. The best way I can think to describe this is it's like a cable cord or something. You know that this white layer right here is just a protective sheet for the wires that are inside. You plug one end in, you plug in another end, the communication goes through. So now, let's pretend this white part is the myelin sheath, and a rat gets a hold of this and chews through that. It's exposed to the wires. This cord probably isn't gonna work the same ever again. So this is where the illustration comes in. So this is just a normal neuron. Let's just say you're just a chill guy walking in the woods. Just chill, relaxed, no threat. You're just moving along. And then all of a sudden, a bear comes out, and he's like, ah! And your body immediately kicks on fight or flight because you need to get out of there. But if you're like, no, it's cool, I'm just gonna take a picture. Oh my God, this is so cool. And you're just ignoring the threat, put this in the outside world, stress, trauma, stuff like that. Your body signals the fight or flight. And when you ignore it for too long, it triggers your immune system to start attacking, because when you will not remove yourself from the threat or the perceived threat, doesn't really matter if it's real or not, if you don't remove yourself, you now become the threat because you are not listening to that fight or flight. So now you've become the threat. The host becomes the threat. The nervous system triggers the immune system to start attacking and taking you out because you won't take you out from that situation. You're not removing yourself from this threat. Your fight or flight stays engaged. You think you're fine, you're acting like it's no threat, and your body is still like, no, we are, and it's doing everything that it can. And it is staying on high alert because it knows. It knows. So obviously this illustration is a little different than what happens in actual life. What actually happens is you can be subjected to high stress situations repetitively that you never remove yourself from, even though you should. You're exposed to trauma that's out of your control, and you have to stay in it, and you can't get out. Or sometimes things just happen out of our control. But with chronic stress and trauma, and especially if you throw in not good sleep, that's a big one, your nervous system can't reset. So it stays in that high alert fight or flight state constantly. When your body never gets to fight or flee, and it's just withholding all of this, and it goes inward and it starts attacking you, this myelin sheath gets eaten through, just like I showed you with the cord. So now your whole entire wire that has to communicate is exposed. But when you still aren't listening, it gets completely demolished. When that starts happening, your neurons can't communicate the way that they're supposed to. So you get a lot of misfiring, you get a lot of miscommunication, you get lost signals, wrong systems activating, like your immune system kicking into attack. You might feel pain for no reason, you might gain weight for no reason, you might have insane things that you can't explain. But it's all because that. Your body is trying to survive with no clear signals being sent. When the immune system goes in and starts attacking, it attacks the myelin sheath on the nerve, and it attacks like your vital systems, like your brain, your spine. I've even heard your eyeballs, like the major things, and it just starts attacking and eating away, and it just starts breaking down your own defense mechanisms and everything. And it starts so chill, like you don't really think about it. You might be like, oh, I just have a headache. But if you are somebody that has been in chronic stressful situations or traumatized repetitively or anything of the sort, and especially if you're somebody that doesn't prioritize your sleep, especially deep sleep, it's gonna just take over. And you can see this is on a cellular level. These are neurons. So what happens when you zoom out, and this has happened to so many of your neurons, when you zoom out from that neuron, you have this, the entire tissue that has been damaged. You have lesions, the spots where those nerves, those neurons have been completely just obliterated, that is a lesion. That is what they call multiple sclerosis. And it is multiple because you were never taken out of the stress. You never saved yourself. You were never allowed to. You never chose to. For whatever reason, you never got out of it. Your body is still stuck in fight or flight. And until you can heal your nervous system and pull yourself out of that fight or flight, it's never going to get better. And the medical world does not want you to know this, because what would happen if people started healing themselves because it was this simple? So when this goes ignored for too long, it leads to problems. Like the ones that I had were like weakness, fatigue, I had numbness and tingling in my limbs, vision problems, weight loss, cognitive fog, emotional overwhelm. Oh my gosh, I was not okay. I was not okay for a really long time. I've had multiple sclerosis for about 5 years now, and I'm learning this, and I'm learning what all it means, and I've got a whole healing protocol down, and I think it's working. I'm just waiting for the final confirmation from the doctors, but I'm off DMTs, and that's a huge thing for MS patients, so I'm clearly doing something okay. But I would like to go even more into this, but I'm running out of time, so this is just like the basic principles of what's happening, and we can go deeper, but that's it for now.